Hello guys, so in this video I'm going to show you guys some common mistake or the challenges that many of you have experienced, particularly on this sections 2.1.1.5. right? So if we look into these labs 2.1.1.5, right, I think many of you may have these challenges, right? So if you open up this document, basically you are going to deploy this network topology with one PC, one laptop, one wireless router, cable modem, which connecting to the internet, and subsequently connecting to the server. Okay, so from what I observed, right, there are two common major issue or common mistake that usually students will do when they complete this lab. Okay, so the first one is basically they are deploying the wrong router, right? So this is the first common mistake. And then the second common mistake is the wrong configurations or wrong sequence of configurations for this internet, right? So basically this is the two common mistake or challenges that students will encounter when trying to complete this lab. So basically in these sessions I'm going to show you how you can fix this. Okay, so the first step that you're going to do for this lab is basically you need to deploy your devices and also your network device, right? So I think many of you should have no issue deploying the end device, right? So you have your PC, right, and then you have your laptop, right? And then I think the mistake that usually students do is deploying the wrong wireless router, right? So instead of the home router, you should deploy this WRT300N. Okay, so this is supposed to be the right router that you should deploy, right? So even though in the handout it is written as a home router, but actually you can actually rename this router to be a home router, but the correct model that you should deploy is supposed to be this WRT300N. okay, so if you look at these two difference, right, basically there are not much difference, right? It's just that for this home router, if you open up that it looks something like this, right? So the only difference is there is some configurations that is not well set up, whereby for this model basically is automatically set up for you already, right? So how do you distinguish it? Is basically you're going to look at this router that it comes with this antenna and this receiver, right? So you can see the difference between these two router. Okay, so that is the first common mistake that is commonly done by students. Okay, so I have done the configuration for my router. So the second common mistake that usually students will do is on these connections between the modem, the cable modem, with the internet, right? So basically here, once you have done these connections between your PC and router and also your laptop and the router, then you have to deploy your cable modem, right? So that you can connect your network to the internet, right? So in order for you to get your cable modem, you have to go to these network devices, and then under the one emulations, you have to select the cable modem, right? So you deploy it here, and then subsequently you also deploy the cloud, right? The packet tracer cloud, right? And then of course you may want to also deploy your server, right? Okay, so when it comes to connections, right, you have to make sure that you are connecting your router to the cable modem using the straight through cable. Okay, so this is the straight through cable. Please don't use the crossover, because otherwise your connection is not going to be established. Okay, so you will have to use this straight through cable, and when you plug into your router, right, you have to make sure that you are plugging into the internet port, right, from your router. That's the first thing. And then on the cable modem, you have to plug into the port 1, right? And then from the cable modem to internet, you have to use the coaxial cable, right? So you have to use the coaxial cable from port 1 to the coaxial 7. Okay, so from the internet, you have to connect to your server, right? So from here, you have to use again your straight through cable, and you have to make sure that you plug into the Ethernet, and then you plug into your fast Ethernet in your server, right? So you have to make sure that you are using the correct cable, right? So from router to modem is using the straight through. Cable modem to the internet or the cloud is going to use the coaxial. Then from the cloud or the internet to the server is going to use back the straight through. Okay, so the configuration part that usually students will encounter is on this particular part, right? The internet cloud, whereby when you go into this cable, right, you may not be able to find out your Ethernet 6, right? So this is the second common problem, right? So what happens is that you have to scroll all the way down until here. You have to make sure that your Ethernet 6 interface is already changed to cable. Only that you will be able to choose the Ethernet for this binding, right? From coaxial to Ethernet 6. Otherwise, it will not show, right? So let me just give you a quick example here. If I go to my configurations, and then if I go to my cable, you'll find it that I only have coaxial, but I don't have any Ethernet 6. Okay, so you have to go to your Ethernet 6 here. From DSL, you have to change to cable. Okay, so once you change to cable, only that your Ethernet 6 is going to make available. Okay, so once it is available already, then you can add into the binding, right, for the coaxial 7 to Ethernet 6. Okay, so basically that's all for this particular video. So I hope that you can continue and proceed from here. So just to summarize, the common two errors that usually students will do or will make mistake in this lab is going to is basically on the wrong router, right? So instead of this WRT 300N, they deployed the home router. So that is the first mistake. Second mistake is on not to say mistake, but it's the wrong configurations. You have to make sure that you have to change your Ethernet 6 from DSL to cable. Only that you'll be able to bind the cable, right? So see you guys in the class.